Hello, friends. Today I'd like to bring back a childhood memory, perhaps. I don't know if you recall hearing, or if you ever, as a child, when I was a child, that was a long time ago, ever played the game Follow the Leader. Follow the leader. Well, what was the object? Well, someone was picked to be the leader, and then whatever they did, however many people were involved, would be in a line following them and then imitating whatever it was that they did, whether it was to wave their arm or shake their leg or turn around in a circle. Your job was to follow the leader. Well, the truth of the matter is, God has designed things in such a way that there are some things that are designed to lead, and then there are other things that are designed to follow. I want to put specific focus today on feelings. Feelings. See, and the first question I want to ask is, do you suppose, now we know that it is God that created us with all these emotions and all of that, but when God created feelings, do you suppose that He designed those feelings to lead us? Or are those feelings designed in such a way that they're supposed to follow us? Well, who are we? See, first of all, we have to understand that what's flesh is flesh, and that what's spirit is spirit. You are not a feeling. You are not a mind. You have feelings, you have a mind, but you are a spirit. And when it comes to your being, you are supposed to be the leader, not your feelings, not even your mind. Well, you say, well, if my mind isn't supposed to be the leader, and you say that my spirit is supposed to lead when it comes to my own personal individual being, then how do I, as a spirit, determine which direction to go? Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because we know that that's what the Bible's talking about when it says to trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not unto your own understanding. In other words, ultimately, our leader is God Himself, none other than God Himself. And did you know that you can't separate the Word of God from God, because the Word is God. The Word of God is God. So, what does that mean? Well, that means that there are all kinds of things that we're going to feel like, but just because we feel that way doesn't mean that that's the way that we are. That's a very important point, and I want to build on that more than we have time to focus on today. But just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that that's the way that you are. That's so important to grasp. That's why, to discover who and what we are, we look to the Word of God to find out who we are. And don't be surprised when there are feelings that contradict what the Word of God says about who you are. God says that you are holy and dearly loved, but you're not always going to feel holy and dearly loved. And that's what I want to expound upon. I want to build on that concept further in the times to come. But for right now, I just want you to think about this fact. Just because, and let me use one example. There are many people that have been very successful that failed again and again and again at whatever it was that they were trying to market. And yet, you can't tell me that those people didn't feel like it's hopeless when they had done their best, and yet they continued to fail. But instead of allowing their feelings to lead them, they continued to remain persuaded, and so they continued down that path. And then certainly the day came when what they had determined to do, they finally accomplished. And then the feelings changed. Anyway, I want you to think about this week, that God did not design your feelings to lead you. And just because you feel inadequate, inferior, or whatever, doesn't mean that's the way that you are. And so we need to learn how to allow the Word of God to tell us who we are, not our feelings. God bless you. Have a great week.